Yeah. So coming to the next fourth standard, which is an PCI DSS payment card industry, and it's an data security standards, is basically used in various banking standards. Okay. Suppose if you are auditing any banking or financial sector, so basically you have to see this payment card industry or data DSS compliance or standards has to be fulfilled. Okay. So for that, I think if you go to the websites or any these things, you will get a lot of standards or guidelines. So some of the guidelines which we have marked under this categories are, so you have to use and maintain firewalls. Okay, so you should maintain a proper protection against the password protection, and you can have the protect the cardholder data. So cardholder data is nothing but like suppose the card holder credit card and debit card information is there. So those information should also and should have a database. You should mask all your the CVV number and PIN number. Okay. So those data should also encrypt in the transmitted data. When you are transferring this such kind of data, it should also go in the encrypted manner. Okay. It should not go into the plain text manner. And also you should always use a updated antiviruses, okay, with the patches to be updated, and you have to maintain a proper antivirus setup. So in order to achieve this PSI DSS compliance, okay. So these are the some of the checklists which you can use in your for under the PCI and DSS compliance, okay. Suppose if any client asks to do the PCI audit or PCI compliance, so compulsory you have to see these are the some of the checklist, whether the client is following or not, whether the client is obeying or not, whether the client is having such kind of mechanism or such kind of techniques, whether if he suppose if he is transmitting any data into the network, whether the data is encrypted or not. So such kind of things you have to check, and you have to see what exactly the data is transferring, etc. Coming to the sixth point, you have to maintain a properly updated software. So what exactly you mean by properly updated software is nothing but like suppose suppose if you are using any the old version of the web server like Apache, or your this what we say like any web servers which you are using. So you should always use the updated or patched these things. Okay, by doing these things you can just restrict the softwares, and software vulnerabilities will also not come to your network, and you can just secure your network as per the requirements. Okay, so restrict the data access. What do you mean by restrict the data access? So the restrict data access is nothing but suppose there are different peoples are there. So how you are accessing, how you are giving access to the different users. Okay, suppose there is a user one. So how you are giving a user privilege or data privilege to the user one. So user two is there. How user two, whether the user two is really needed the data, whether he is really access is required. So such kind of restrictions. So you have to check the firewall level, how far this the DMZ rules, whether how the suppose if the server is there. So how this access restrictions of the data is given, access is given. So such kind of things you have to thoroughly check at the firewall level, at the perimeter level, etc. So unique IDs for access. Okay, suppose there is some big financial companies there. Okay, organization is there. So there are different networking devices are there. There are different security devices are there. So for that purpose, you have to have the very different unique IDs and how the access has been provided. Okay, it should not be same IDs. So the ID should be unique, identified, and access has to be provided as per the privilege mode. Okay, so that means like if the user is accessed for that particular thing, then only it can be given. Okay, so ID should also be unique. It should not be same. Like suppose there is a this thing like suppose if you are example is like suppose you are creating any the VPN account, right? So VPN account is suppose there is a one VPN account, that VPN account should not be given the common account to all the members. Okay, so it should be different for the different people for the different access and with the different passwords. Okay, so that it can be suppose if one account is compromised, the attacker should not go into the deep into the your network. Okay, for such purpose you should always give the different kind of IDs, and passwords for the access. Okay. What do you mean by restrict physical access? Okay, physical access is nothing but like the physical security. Like suppose there is a data center. Okay, so there is a data center. There is some kind of device like biometric device or some kind of user authentication, two-way authentication or three-way authentication should be properly maintained or not. Whether they are maintaining the proper these things or not. Whether the server is loaded in the particular rack, whether that rack is locked or not. So such kind of physical security you have to check, and whether such kind of activity, whether it is really implemented or not. So you have to check. Okay. So one more thing is like suppose the most of the users like the servers, basically in the case of servers. So once you so there is only they keep the only the username and passwords. Okay. So the basic thing is like you have to also give a BIOS level password. Okay. That means like when any server is started, suppose if I got access to the if suppose your username and password is compromised. Okay. So what the next can be done? So I can enter into the PC and I can do anything, right? But when you start your server or PC or workstation or anything, so if I keep a BIOS level password, so whether that BIOS level password, if it is not in the hand of a attacker, so he cannot do anything. Okay. So these are some of the things like which comes under your physical access and physical security. Okay. So create and maintain access logs. Okay. These are the main thing when you come under the access log. Suppose if you are accessing the servers, when you are accessing any network devices, when you are accessing any kind of web application, web services. So there is always this thing like something if goes happen. So something attack happens, some kind of defacement happen. There should be always, you should maintain a logs. Okay. Centrally, you have to maintain the logs. There should be some kind of device which shows the logs to so on date or so on time, what exactly happened and what exactly the criticality of the logs and where exactly the logs are came. Okay. So that means the raw logs of your system can be dumped into the human readable format. Okay. So it should have the source address, destination address, port, on which country, on which state or which location or which IP addresses it has to be come, and how it has to be services and how it has to be come with ports and all those things has to be maintained. Okay. Suppose if this is not centrally, if it is not maintained, you can also go to your system level under your Windows Event Manager, Windows Event Manager, Event Viewer, sorry, Windows Event Viewer. There you can see like system access, security access, and your this all kind of logs are implemented. Okay. So all kind of logs are there. Suppose if my laptop is using, so what kind of logs are accessible? Okay. What kind of system is there? So what kind of who has access and what time, whether he is successful, whether he has failure, and what kind of application he is tried to access. So such kind of internal or local host can also be internal logs can also be seen from your system event viewer. Okay. Windows system event that can be seen from your control panel, and you are going to the system manager. Okay. Scan and test for vulnerabilities. Okay. So what do you mean by scan and test for vulnerabilities? Suppose as I told, there is some kind of VA tools are there in the market which is freely available, like Nessus, Nexpose, OpenVAS, etc. etc. Okay. So for that purpose, you have to scan for different vulnerabilities. Okay. So whether those vulnerabilities can be exploited or not, you can try with the Metasploit. Okay. So Metasploit is one of the tool which can be used for exploiting whether the vulnerabilities are present with the tool or not. Okay. So such kind of things you have to check in your environment, whether those things can be implemented or not, whether those vulnerabilities are really present or not. So whether it can be exploitable or not. So such kind of things you have to be check under the PCI DSS compliance. Okay. So document policies. So policy says you should not use the any device or any server with respect to HTTP. But when you check your device, it is open through HTTP. That means Hypertext Transport Protocol. So that means it runs on the port 80. So that means that your communication is going on in the plain text. Okay. But your policy says you should not use HTTP. Instead of HTTP, you have to use HTTPS. Okay. So HTTPS stands for secure communication. That means your data will go in a secure manner. That too, and that too, if you are using HTTPS also, you have to check the what is the security. What do you, I mean, like how general the SSL version you are using, and what kind of security certificate you are using, whether it is a valid certificate or not. So such kind of things you have to see as per the policy level. Okay, these are all comes under the hardening. So I think you got the clear idea about this how this audit can be done, and what exactly the hardening is done, and what are the various devices, and what are the various standards you have to follow while you are auditing. Okay.